Of course he's sick, dude. But guess what? My team ain't. Actually, they are. They're very, very sick. They're hurt. They're disheveled. They're all over the place. But we got the dub, didn't we? We got the dub. And that's really what matters. Welcome to the Sunday night live stream, folks. Okay? Man, I can see myself in the video. And yeah, I look rough. I do. But I got Sourdough Sam here with me. And that's it, dude. And that's it. Sorry. I am a little sick. Okay? Here, let me get the helmet. It's a little easier to mess with. Okay? I'm a little sick. A little under the weather. Okay? But we did it. Big dubs in Philly. Big dubs in Philly. The biggest of dubs in Philly. Alright? And what's going on? The Warriors were down at the half, and then I had to get ready for the live stream. Sharks were down also. Yeah, we're still down. Hawks are going to beat us without Trae Young. They got CJ McCollum, and they're still going to beat us. The Warriors are just super mid. Almost as mid as it can get. And the Golden Knights destroyed the Sharks. So in the Discord, I did say, are we going to go 3 for 3? And instead, we went 1 for 3. That's fine, dude. We got the most important one, I guess. Patriots are beating the Chargers. I got to say, man. What a weekend of games. 4 bangers. 4 bangers. And then the Chiefs and Patriots with a dud. Huh? An absolute dud to end off the weekend. But actually, I think there is a game tomorrow too, right? Isn't there like a Monday game? But man, what a good set of games. Most important one, right? I don't even know what to say about the game, dude. It's freaking crazy. That's all I know. It's freaking crazy. That's all I know, dude. I don't know much. But I know it's freaking crazy. You know? I know it was crazy. You may call me crazy for not doubting this team. You know? So, man, 2 weeks ago, I was on the field pregame, you know, for the flag ceremony at Levi's Stadium. Dude, the pyro going off, dude. Brock Purdy with his hand over his heart right behind us, dude. Robert Saleh right behind us. You know? Fly over, dude. The lights, the music, the sounds, dude. The anthem, the craziness. And last week, I'm in Buffalo, shoveled the snow, and I'm at the Bills' very last, at least regular season. I don't know if they still have a hope of a playoff game after what happened so far this weekend. I know it was a very slim chance they had another game. But anyways, it's basically the last game at the Ralph. And then this week, I'm homesick on the couch. You know, we cover the whole gamut, dude. We cover the whole spectrum here. That's what we do. You know? But from the couch, I watched our boys pull it off. You're a dud. All right. Seems uncalled for. You know? Seems uncalled for. That was a great game. The Niner game defense. Oh, the Eagles in the second half. Dude, so, like, our practice squad. Do we have the best practice squad in the league or what? Like, what was up with that, man? And to the secondary played great. Our freaking 7th and 8th linebackers did pretty good, you know. And then Demarcus Robinson with, I mean, that was like a career game for him. Like, you know. I mean, you know, he had some moments with the Chiefs and whatnot, but like, I don't know if he's ever had a better game than that in a, you know, pressure situation. I can't remember him ever having one. Maybe he did. I don't know. You know, whatever, dude. I'm not Ben Stein, okay? I'm not Dick Vitale, okay? Um, uh, Brock, I mean, he did all right. He did all right. You know, considering it was super windy, conditions kind of sucked. He did all right. I would say the 2 interceptions he threw, and then there was another throw he had were terrible, terrible, terrible throws. Just god awful throws. But I mean, otherwise he held it together. CMC saved us on the Juwan Jennings pass. Little what was it, like a jet sweep, and then Juwan Jennings threw it, and you know, it was such a difficult catch. Like, it's one of those catches where if you're watching it, like, the casual just be like, oh, he made the catch. He's open. Oh, you know, solo open field catch. But like, if you really watch it, like where it's coming down, I mean, that's such a difficult catch to make. So CMC saved us there. I don't even want to talk about George Kittle because I'm so sad. But George Kittle is likely, I mean, depending on the severity, he could miss like most of next season also. Like, that's how bad it could be. And I don't want to think about it or your boy will cry on the Sunday night live stream. World famous, dude. 6 viewers right now. You know? In front of the whole world, he might cry. Fans Fest announced GP2 bobblehead. Let's go. Yeah, the Gary Payton bobblehead I really like. I really want the Draymond Green Michigan State bobblehead. Fans Fest, I don't know if I'll be able to make it. I would like to. It seems like it's definitely scaled down from the other Fans Fest, but it would still be fun to go. Patriots beating the Chargers, 2 minutes left in the game, 16-3 means the Chargers being eliminated because they're in the 7th seed, so be Buffalo at Denver next week. So I wonder, does Buffalo still have a shot at having a home game? I hope not. CMC was getting redemption for week 17. Yeah, he played very well. And I was surprised because, like, with how windy it was, like, I don't know if you guys saw some of the shots they were showing, but like the goalposts are just like flopping around. It was so windy. I really thought both teams were gonna run more. They ran a lot. Like, don't get me wrong, but like they actually took some shots too, which I didn't really expect. I thought it was just gonna be a run-a-thon, you know, a run-a-palooza, dude. But they actually took some shots. So maybe it wasn't as bad down on the field. I don't know. But man, I'm just happy we got out of the wild card. Like, I don't have the highest expectations. Obviously, I'm gonna hope and root and cheer and scream, but you know, we're decimated. We are decimated, folks, and that's just how it goes. You know, what are you supposed to do? You know. I'm starting to, I don't know if you guys saw, but there's a conspiracy theory going around. I don't even know if it's conspiracy theory at this point, but there is a power substation right next to the 49ers practice field. And there's apparently some studies. I don't know how verified these are. Okay, I am not Bill Nye, okay? But apparently was it EMF waves or something? Some kind of waves that come off power stations like that can cause damage to cartilage and ligaments and stuff like that. Basically soft tissues with prolonged exposure, which is why, based on the theory, 49ers get hurt more often because they're practicing there all the time, so they're having prolonged exposure. So it's not one of those things where if you just walk by, you're out there once, it'll affect you. But if you're practicing there for months and months and months, then it can damage your cartilage and whatnot enough to weaken your tendons and your ligaments and whatnot. That's the theory. I'm starting to buy it, dude, because like it's so crazy. It's so crazy. The only thing that throws me off is they've been practicing at that facility for a lot longer than they've had like the excess injuries, which has been about 10 to 12 years they've had like the most injuries. But the substation could have changed or something in that time frame. I don't know, but we should look into it. I mean, I never liked that practice facility anyways, dude. Get it out of here. Move the team back to San Francisco. How about that? How about that, dude? How you like them apples? Huh? How you like them apples? Move the team back to San Francisco and then they can keep their Achilles intact. How about that? Huh? Thought so, dude. Thought so. You know, Barrett throwbacks in the house. CMC was getting redemption for week 17. Oh, yeah, I read that. Rams 49ers NFC Championship. I don't know if I'll survive that. Feel like I say this every week. 49ers are cursed. Yep. It's not just an exaggeration. Yep, there's something wrong. There is. There is. It must be Sunday. It sure is. Your Packers are cursed? I mean, you guys won 15 years ago, or a little longer than that, but like you still won and you've had very good seasons. Only one team can win a year, you know what I mean? So I don't think the Packers are cursed. You guys were cursed with 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks back to back, and who knows, maybe even a third. We'll see, right? I don't think that's a curse, dude. Don't, because who wins tomorrow between Houston and Pittsburgh would play in New England. Pittsburgh's number 4 seed. Okay, cool. I don't know much about the Packers injury situation. I highly doubt they're nowhere near the 49ers injury issues. Yeah, nowhere near. Nowhere near. Wasn't Levi Stadium built for San Francisco? So yeah, that is basically, as far as we can tell, what happened is they designed Levi's for the Hunters Point site, I believe, which is like a little north around the river bend of Candlestick Park. And they were cheap, so when Santa Clara was like, hey, we'll give you free taxpayer money so that you can exploit taxpayers, then they just took the same design and just put it in Levi's, which is why it's too hot during, early season especially. What's up, Jake? I know it's a rumor. How far does the building have to be away from the substation? I'm like 3 blocks away from one. I don't know. I think you have to be very close. And literally the substation is on the other side of a fence from the practice field. Like it's literally a errant throw, an errant pass downfield could possibly like hit the power station. That's how close it is. It's crazy that because they practice and play in Santa Clara, some of these players may never step foot in San Francisco their whole time as a San Francisco 49er. I know, right? That is weird. I never thought about that. That's why the stadium is open, so winds would help to cool down the sun. They would never build a stadium like that if they were going to build it custom to be in that area. Yeah, no, it was if you look at the original, like when the 49ers were first exploring building a new stadium, or they first put plans out and they were going to build it in like Hunters Point, it's the same exact stadium design, before Santa Clara was even in play. It's basically exactly the same. So, not only did they want to exploit taxpayers, but they also were too cheap to design a new stadium for Santa Clara. And that's that, dude. And now they're getting their second Super Bowl, and Oracle Park, the lovely, beautiful Oracle Park, has only had one All-Star game in its entire existence. Make that make sense, dude. Is that the reason for the gap in Levi's was supposed to show the skyline? Probably, yeah. Patriots are moving on. Crazy. Chargers are cursed too. That's what they get. That's what they get for leaving San Diego, dude. I will forever hate the Chargers. You guys know, I've said this before, dude. I've said this before, but it is so stupid that there's 2 teams in LA. They have almost the same color schemes. Their uniforms are similar. And one of them barely has any history in the city. They have a little bit, which is always the stupid. They were originally in LA. Yeah, but in LA, they barely, dude. And the other team won a Super Bowl in a different city. It's so stupid, dude. So stupid. But anyways, the 49ers are moving on. We're going to play Seattle again. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to play a division rival. It's very difficult to beat a team multiple times. Let's see if we can knock off Seattle. Do we have enough gas in the tank? Do we have enough gas in the tank to get, go all the way, make a run? That's not something I would say. But heck, dude, am I along for the ride? Am I along for the ride or what? Now, one of my favorite pastimes is when there's a big game like this. I like to go read comments in the subreddits of the losing teams. And so Eagles fans, they want to move on from Jalen Hurts. They want to trade him. They want to fire the coach. They all want to fire the offensive coordinator, Patullo. They're just losing their collective minds. And like I said in the Discord earlier, I posted a video. I hope the stream didn't die because YouTube crashed. There it is. All right. AJ Brown is going to have a crazy offseason, dude. He's going to crash out. I guarantee it. And I can't wait. Anyways. Nobody saw that. But man, what a weekend of games so far, huh? Heck of a run of games, dude. Lots of good ones. All came down to the wire, except for the Patriots Chargers. Womp womp womp. Boring. NFL season was crazy. We're gonna have a new AFC champion, new NFC champion. Yeah, dude, this NFL season is definitely a strange one. None of the powerhouse teams from the last few years remained powerhouse teams. And the new powerhouse teams, they all came not out of nowhere, but I mean basically out of nowhere. Like Broncos, Patriots, did we expect that? You know what I mean? Yeah, it's interesting. The Jaguars all teal uniforms today were just beautiful. They were just beautiful. I just got to say that. The Bills are moving on. I will talk about Buffalo in a little bit. I have some funny stories and rants and stupid stuff to talk about there. Yeah, it was a wild season so far. And 49ers are supposed to be playing on a rainy, sewage-soaked field. The whole NFL is too fancy these days. I don't disagree. Looking at the map, was the stadium supposed to be built around Hunters Point? Yeah, it was supposed to be built in Hunters Point. I can't remember the exact piece of land. I'd have to look it up. But, yeah, just like northeast of where Candlestick was. Two teams that LA people don't even care about. Yeah, more Niners, Raiders, Cowboys, Steelers fans. Yep. The amount of booing of the Eagles by their own fans when they were only down by 3 was crazy to me. Yeah, they were booing when they go 3 and out. They were booing for everything. It was man, those fans are something else. You're boring. Dude, what's up, dude? What did I do? Why are you coming for my head today? I'm just a poor little sick child watching his injured football team struggle against the defending world champions, dude. And I'm just a sensitive little thing, little creature. And you're just coming at my head, dude. Watch one of your Niners videos at Levi's. I saw you comment. I was going to say something. You said you loved Aaron Rodgers. I know. I still, as a football player, I still do. He's just so arrogant, dude. Just so arrogant. But as a football player, I still really like him. He's super fun to watch. He still is, even at his ripe old age. Let's go Niners. That's right, Jose. That is right. I love the media trying to show the Eagles fans in a positive light. Did they? I missed that. I didn't really pay attention to that. I will say this, though. I really, really enjoy Tom Brady as a broadcaster. I do, dude. What, dude? Talk to my lawyers. I do. And that's that, dude. That's that. Okay? I got a Dr. Brown original cream soda here. That's the drink of the stream. It is not sponsored, but oh boy, can it be. Oh, is this channel open for sponsorship or what, dude? Business email in the description. Because I love Dr. Brown's, the original cream soda flavor favorite for generations. Since 1869, dude. Not sponsored, but it sure can be. Sure can be, dude. Real quick. That's a darn good cream soda, dude. That to me is the original flavor favorite for generations. Okay? Oh, and the Bay Area Throwbacks also preying on my downfall. That's fine. It's just been announced the Niners will play on Saturday. I work Saturdays, dude. I work Saturdays, John Lynch. Paul Tagliabue or whoever's calling the shots, dude. I'm going to get Paul Tagliabue on the phone. I work Saturdays. What am I supposed to do? How am I expected to watch and root and cheer, dude? You got to be kidding me. Got to be kidding me, dude. That sucks. That really, really sucks. I don't want to have to call out, dude. I don't want to call out. Original, you're going to take a second to talk about the realignment that I showed you on Discord? Yeah, we can. Did you see the video of Eagles fans throwing empty beer cans at Niners fans? Yeah, that's the reason I'm afraid to go, because it's so hard for me to let things slide off my back. And I got some stories for you guys later, too. Yeah. Marcelo said, you're cool, dude. Who's Marcelo? Is this a Marcelo I know? NFL announced today. NFL needs to get out of here, dude. NFL needs to get out of here. That's everything just crashed on me. My whole freaking everything crashed. Whatever, dude. I'm getting Pete Rozelle on the phone, dude, and I'm gonna ask him about this scheduling thing, because that's not cool. It's not cool at all. But what am I? I'm gonna have to call out, dude. Shot Simple, what up? Dang it. All right, well, we're playing the Seahawks in Seattle. That's gonna be fun. AJ Brown left right after the game, by the way, if you guys didn't see. So I'm telling you, his crash out is coming soon, and it's going to be fun, okay? Look, I'm sick. Leave me alone, okay? But you know what makes me feel better? Dr. Brown's cream soda, the original. Flavor favorite for generations. Not sponsored, but it can be. Business email in the description. You're running around the Bills. The Bills have no possibility for a home game. Yes! Good. My Bills video will be out later this week. It sucks, dude. My freaking browser keeps crashing right now. You know? God gives the toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. Members only video is dope. Now I feel like I have shoveled snow for the Bills. Thank you, man. It was so much fun. I'll talk about the whole Buffalo trip in a minute after we get past this. Playoffs are always this way. The first two rounds are played both Saturday and Sunday. I know, but I was hoping we get the Sunday game. I don't even know if that was a possibility. If they're doing like NFC, AFC, I don't know, dude. I do want to say, just because I'm not gonna go into a long thing about this, but I have to say something for my own conscience, because, you know, I'm goofing, I'm doing all that, okay? But I do want to say that hold on, where is it? I believe ICE is domestic terrorism. I think ICE is terrible, and I think we are living in a fascist state. And if you know history, please go watch this. I've been posting this so many times. Hitler and the Nazis, Evil on Trial on Netflix, okay? And just see the parallels about what's going on, because we are living this right now, okay? And look, I don't want to be super political. I want to goof and laugh, but there's terrible things happening in our country, and our democracy is falling right now. Okay? We are in the 5th stage of fascism, if you know about the stages. So please stop thinking of politics like you're rooting for a sports team. Okay? We're goofing on our sports teams. We have fun, but this is real life, dude. It's not sports teams. Okay? I don't have a side. I just have my ideals. Because I think people like Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries and Cory Booker need to go too. Just like Trump. Get him out of here, folks. Okay? I don't want to go down a road, but I need in the future, I need it to be documented that I am not okay with anything going on right now. Okay? And this channel will always be inclusive for all people. Okay? And, I will say, I wanted to read, I am not religious, but I did want to read some Bible quotes. That's what we're doing tonight. Okay? Leviticus 19:33-34, if that's how you say it. When a stranger sojourns with you in your land, you shall not do him no wrong. You shall not do him wrong. You shall treat the stranger who sojourns with you as the native among you, and you shall love him as yourself, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Okay? And that's from your own God, guys. Okay? And that's that, dude. All right? So ICE, I don't care where you're from. I don't care the color of your skin or religion, whatever. Dude, I'm cool with everybody, and I want the best for everybody, and I want a government and a world that respects everybody and is fair for everybody, and that's it. Okay? All right. Let's get off it. If I think of something else, though, I might go on another rant. And look, it's like if that bothers you, just stop watching my channel, dude. I'm a good-hearted person who wants to do good, and that's why I'm honest with my videos, my history videos. I'm honest, dude. I don't sugarcoat it. It's not propaganda. It's not nationalism. There's no xenophobia. There's no bigotry. I'm just honest, truthful, respectful, and I lead with love and a kind heart, and that's it. That's it. Okay? And if you can't deal with that because I'm aware of history and I know what fascism is, my lawyers are drafting up paperwork right now. Okay? Down with the billionaires and the oligarchs. All right. Let's move on. Last thing, I promise. I'm an American, and I want to be proud to be an American, and it's very hard to do that. So we should be building a country that leads, that we should be proud of. We should not be threatening other countries. Like how we should not just be like, we're gonna take Greenland. No, dude. That's just stealing. Okay, no. Anyways, all right, let's move on. Did you watch the ICE murderer falling on his ass? Was that the same guy? Yes, Renee Good was murdered, by the way. Okay? She's clearly turning away from the idiot that stood in front of the car, which is against all training or common sense. Okay? Amen, Dylan. Bang, bang. Thank you, man. Feed the hungry, protect the poor. Thank you, Paul. Yes. Melt the ice. Yes. Marcelo is my son. He's working on his SCS 24 RC car. Dude, that's sick. I want to see that. SCS 24. Dude, some of the greatest people I've ever known were undocumented immigrants. The kindest, most loving, hardest working people I've ever met. And so I am, I'm not religious, but I agree with Jesus Christ that you should treat them, as you'd want to be treated and with love and respect. Dude, I see a bunch of RC cars like that. Which one is it? I see a Bronco. That's fun. The white Bronco. Dude, can you get a white Bronco RC truck? That was in his Old Testament too. Take the land away from the sinful and weak. I don't know much about the Bible, dude. I'll be honest. I'm not religious at all. I just believe in. I say this in an upcoming video, actually. If you guys if anyone even cares, which who really does, but I am not religious. I do not believe in much supernatural. But what I do believe in is the human spirit, and I believe in being good for the sake of being good, not because of wanting some reward in the afterlife. And I also believe in just the poetry of life that we live, and that we can write a very beautiful poetic story with our time. And so I'm not perfect. I get angry. I can be mean. I can do all that. I'm far from perfect, but I try every day to be more respectful and kind and generous and do things for people, and be a positive force in the world to everybody, not just people who look like me or think like me or whatever. And that is my spirituality. And the way I see it is, if there's a God out there, that is supposed to be, a loving God or whatever, then they should appreciate that. And if that's not good enough because they want me to worship them, that is not a God that I'd want to worship anyways. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. But I respect whatever you want to believe or whatever, as long as it doesn't encroach on other people's rights or, happiness. And that's it. We need more love in this world. Agreed. Is the Basecamp Toyota SCX24. All right, let me look it up. Sorry. This cough is coming on. This cough is coming on strong, folks. Here is the RC car. Dude, I occasionally will see videos. I literally just saw a video of some RC car, I think today, and it looks so dope. And I was like, wow, I haven't driven an RC car, whatever you want to call it, in probably 20, 25 years. And to see how much they've improved is so amazing. Yeah, this looks awesome, dude. I've always loved RC cars, but I've never dedicated time to really be involved in the hobby. But it's always one of those things where I'm like, oh, someday if I had time and money, I would love to just go crazy with RC cars. I've always wanted to get the off-road ones and then build a dirt track in the backyard. I've always wanted to do stuff like that. One day, dude. This one is so hard right here. Of course, it opens up the whole thing, Wait, where'd the black one go? I mean, this one's cool too. 67 Chevy C10. That's super cool, man. Well, Marcelo, enjoy building that. That's super dope. Speaking of just to be on the ranty thing. I did a video when I got to Buffalo. I rented a car through Dollar, which I guess is owned by Hertz. They're under the umbrella of Hertz now. I didn't know that, but I rented. It was supposed to be a mid-size SUV. I think a 4-wheel drive, because it was in the snow, right? There was going to be snowing. I get there. Of course, they don't have the car that I reserved 90 days before this. And I checked in the day before, on the app, everything. So they ended up giving me a Nissan Armada, which is a really big SUV. It ended up working out. It was fine. But today I checked my email, and they sent me a thing that said there was damage to the vehicle. And they said that the windshield was damaged. Now, first of all, I dropped it off on January 6th. It is now January 11th when they send me almost a week. And now suddenly the windshield is damaged and it's my fault. So I sent them. Luckily, dude, this is my advice segment. This has never happened, but I've heard horror stories of this happening and people being blamed for damage. So when I get cars and I drop them off, I always take a video of the car. So this is me dropping off the car. Okay. I show the inside, just show it's not all damaged. There's mud on it from like the snow, but that's it. I show everything like the wheel wells. In hindsight, I wish I would have filmed it a little more thorough and like not as fast. But as you can see right here, I'm going to show the windshield. Okay. Look at that. If you can tell, windshield is fine. There's no cracks in the windshield. So please, if you're getting a rental car, take videos and photos. They actually asked for photos. So I had to take screenshots of this, and then I sent a link to Dropbox where I put the video. Dude, like, it's just insane how these companies just like, because here's the thing. They will not, they try to cut corners at every turn. And so when you drop these cars off now, or even when you pick them up, there's like almost no humans around. It's all like contactless, no humans, and you can't get help, basically. And maybe if they had humans, they wouldn't be able to do this, right? But they just basically, oh yeah, you damaged the car. Clearly the windshield's not damaged. Now, here's the thing. My email might just be an automated thing. It might be AI, and they're just going to rule against me and then still try to like charge me. Now, I will never pay this. I will fight tooth and nail. I will get my lawyers on the horn. But it's just insane how these companies will try to do you, you know? Almost a week later, you're going to be like, oh, actually the windshield was damaged. I dropped it off on freaking Tuesday, dude. What'd you do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and what day is it? Sunday, Saturday. What did you do for those 4 whole days that the car did God knows what? Now all of a sudden it's damaged? These corporations can get it, dude. All of them. You know? All of them. And that's that. I just wanted to rant about that, but yeah. Now I show the whole car, which was fine. Okay. It was definitely dirty because it was snowing and storming the whole time. But there was no damage. Okay, no damage. Windshield's fine. Windshield's fine. Definitely dirty, but fine. So I urge you, if you ever get a rental car, take a video, take photos of the whole car when you pick it up and when you drop it off. So when you pick it up, you look for existing damage. When you drop it off, you look for any new damage or lack of damage. I also do the same thing with hotel rooms, and I do it actually for it's a weird thing I've always done. When I stay in a hotel room, I always like take a little video of it when I leave, just so like when I'm an old man, I can just look back and be like, oh, I remember that room. It looked out over the lake or something, you know? But it's also just in case they're like, oh, you damaged something or you did, you know? Because these companies, they don't care, man. They don't care. You know? Are you telling me that you didn't take photos or video of the exterior and interior of the car? Do rule number 1, always take video of that rental car. No, that's what I'm saying I did. This is the video of the car. This is the video I took. I'm saying I should have taken a better video, but I took this video of the car when I dropped it off, which clearly shows no damage to the windshield. And they sent a picture of the damage. So I think it is damaged now. But it was like a big crack that went up like right here in the middle. And then this almost looks like damage, but that's the car behind. That's like the top of a car that's behind the car, the rental. So yeah, dude, these companies are freaking evil, dude. So yeah, wouldn't be surprised if they've been paid 10 times over for that broken windshield. I know, right? Just crazy, man. Just crazy. Yeah, so I'm gonna do another TikTok about that. And I didn't watch this video yet. I hope it doesn't get blocked, but let's see. So this is Jose Ramirez of the Cleveland Guardians, and apparently he was talking about not taking the most money to stay in Cleveland, which I wanted to watch, and I'll watch it with you guys live reaction because I haven't watched it yet.
No, realmente la decisión yo la tomé en coger esa atención.
And it's in Spanish, so dang it, I thought it was at least translated. Never mind. All right, well, I'll try to get it translated, then we'll talk about it next week. But basically, he's talking about he loves the team in the city, and so building his legacy there was also an important factor, as opposed to just trying to seek out the most money, which I thought was super admirable. That said, again, these teams should be paying these guys a lot of money since they are the draw. And it shouldn't be the stupid, unnecessary owners taking the bulk of the money because they are useless and they don't need to exist. That's that. He's radical, folks. He's radical. All right, let's talk about Buffalo, dude. If you guys are boring, you can take off now. Okay, we're gonna talk about fun stuff now. Okay, and I don't need no boring folks around here. All right, so I went to Buffalo, and flying there. So my flight was from San Jose to Atlanta, Atlanta to Buffalo. My second leg of the flight got canceled while I was in the air on the way to Atlanta. So I get to Atlanta, and my app starts when I get my phone off airplane mode. I get a bunch of notifications from my Delta app because I flew Delta, and it's like, your flight was canceled, blah blah, but we've automatically booked you. You're good to go, blah blah blah. The problem was I was supposed to have like an hour and a half layover. Now I have like a 25-minute layover, so like no time to do anything. I had to like rush to the next gate. So I look at the phone. It says gate whatever it was. It was like A19 or something. I go over there. They're already starting to board, and I look at the video screen. It says Detroit. I'm like looking at the app, like, oh no, am I in the wrong place? And I look at the app, and I walk up to the desk, and I start to ask the guy, like, hey, I have a question or whatever. And I look, as I'm doing that, I'm opening up like my itinerary, and I noticed that the itinerary changed to Atlanta to Detroit, Detroit to Buffalo. They added a whole leg. And I was like, never mind. I'm in the right place. And because it was so short, I didn't have time to even do anything. I was just automatically booked. And not only that, but the Detroit part of the journey had a 5-hour layover. So I'm just like, I just kind of resigned to it. I'm like, whatever, dude, whatever. I really tried to be chill this trip, because a lot of times I'll be honest, like I get very, very anxious. I get very where I'm just like, I gotta do this, I gotta film this, I gotta get to this, I gotta do this. This trip, I tried to just be like, I'm there for like 4 days. I'm going to the game. It looks like I get to shovel snow. And then there was one other thing I wanted to do. So I'm like, let's just, whatever happens, happens. Let's just try to enjoy it as it is. So with the layover, I tried not to get upset. I was just more just like, of course. And I went up. And they made me check my bag also for the Detroit part of the trip. So I go up to the Delta desk when I get to Detroit, And I just ask her, I'm like, I tell her what happens. I was like, look, they changed my flight. I'm all discombobulated. Is my suitcase going? Do I need to pick it up here in Detroit? Is it going to be is it at the carousel right now? Or is it going straight to Buffalo? Because it wasn't clear. So she looks it up for me and she's like, oh, it's going straight to Buffalo. So it's already, she's like, it's here and it's already in the thing waiting to be boarded onto the next plane or whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. And because I told her what happened, she gave me a meal voucher, which was very nice. So I was like, oh, cool. Like, and I wasn't mean about it. I was just like kind of laughing, like, this is what happened. Like, can you just help me know where my bag's at? And she was very, very sweet about it. And she gave me a meal voucher. So your boy goes and gets a Detroit style pizza, dude, which was like, I've had like pizzas, similar style, like pan pizzas and whatnot. But this is the first like official Detroit style pizza from Detroit I've ever had. And it was banging, dude. It was banging. Okay. Deal with it. Deal with it, dude. Talk to my lawyers. And it was free. Deal with it. Deal with it, dude. Okay. So I finally, 5 hours goes by. It was a long dang time, dude. Long dang time. And then, so I get to Buffalo almost at midnight, like super late. I was supposed to pick up my rental car like hours before that. The one that was magically damaged 6 days after I turned it in. So maybe that's why. Maybe they got rid of the car because I was so late. I don't know. But that night I was planning on doing stuff. Like, I was originally supposed to get there at like 5 p.m. And so that night I was going to go do photos and stuff that I had wanted to do around Buffalo, like downtown, Shea's Buffalo Theater, the Grand Central Terminal, all these sites around Buffalo I wanted to go see. But I got there almost midnight. Hadn't really eaten. I had ate, but I hadn't what's it called? I hadn't like showered or anything. I just felt gross, so I just like had to get ready, do all that. And so I just didn't feel like going out to do anything at midnight. So then the next day I was able to get signed up for snow shoveling at Highmark Stadium, the Ralph. And I signed up for the PM shift, which started at noon. So I got there a little early. I droned the stadium. It was snowing pretty good, but not like crazy. It wasn't like a blizzard. And what was cool is like driving around, it was just Bills stuff everywhere, man. Like everywhere you look, Bills Mafia. Everywhere you look, people excited for the game, for the team. There's whole houses just painted, blue and red. There's just Bills stuff everywhere. And it's just like, man, I miss when it was more like that in the Bay Area. But it's like we have so many transplants now. There's so many different fans of different teams. It's like, obviously, you still see Niners stuff everywhere, but it's not like, it's just not the same where it's like the whole city is ready to go. Now we have like techies and people like from other countries that don't even care, but there, the whole town is invested. And I love that. So I get to the snow shoveling thing. They gave us like, did they give us a parking pass or they just told us where to park? I don't remember. I did see, I went into the wrong driveway and I went to like the practice and team facility, and there were some players like leaving and there's people waiting for autographs. So that was kind of cool to see. I didn't like recognize anybody because I only saw a couple cars while I was like trying to maneuver through. But it was just cool to see that. And if you don't know, like the Ralph and the new stadium, they're in Orchard Park. So it's like it's just a neighborhood, man. Like there's like just houses and then there's like little corner stores and like restaurants, dude. It's just a straight up neighborhood. And then the stadium, like it's so dope. Like I love it. It's, You guys may remember I talked about going to Rickwood Field in Alabama. It was just so cool to like leave Rickwood Field and just be walking through a neighborhood. It just felt old school, and I love that. So, anyways, I get there. They have a line. We had to wait in to check in. We had to check in for the snow shoveling, and we had to like give our ID and all that because it was a paid gig. Which I still haven't got paid, and they haven't responded to my email. So maybe I'm speaking too soon. But the line stretches so far, and there's a fella I start talking to. He says this is way more people than yesterday or this morning. So I think because it was the last period of time, the most people signed up for it. And it was an absolute mess. But I talked to a guy named Mark. Shout out Mark if you're out there. He was from Buffalo, and had all kinds of stories and stuff. And so me and him were kind of hanging out and talking. Then another guy named Mezzi. Shout out Mezzi. And Darian. There's a few people that I were really cool with while I was there, and we talked and all that. But they just kind of walk us into the stadium. Now, here's the thing. What was cool is there was security there, but there was no security check. So I was able to just bring in like my camera. I brought in my Osmo. So if you saw that video, that's like all Osmo, which is the little camera. This one. Like they weren't even tripping on anything. I could have brought, my big camera with a great lens if I wanted, but we just basically had the run of the place, which was cool, but it was so unorganized. So they take us down to these sections, and the people who were like in charge, there was no organization. So there's just people kind of barking orders, and we're just like, so I assume you're in charge, or are you just a guy? Are you just a guy? Or are you a guy in charge? I don't know, dude. And they were like, I'll be honest, I didn't like the way they were running things. They were very just like kind of condescending in a way. And they were super young. The guys running, I think they worked for ABM or something, but they were super young, like 20 years old. And so they just were goofing off. And then they just be like, oh, go over here. And like, we were just like, what is going on? And then they had, so basically like one person will go section by section, right? One person will go in each row. And then there's chutes, like these plastic slides, basically like a flume. And each one is probably like 15 feet long, 10, 15 feet. And then they were wired together to make one long chute down the whole section. Terrible system. Because those things are just wobbling and falling apart. And you got to move them. And then apparently someone told me, because I looked, they have like little, there was holes in them. And those things just got packed with ice and water. So the thing is way heavier than it should be. Because inside it is just water and stuff. Because they left them out behind the stadium uncovered. And it's just like, after 53 years, this is the best system you got. And we're like, I think all of us kind of just took pride in it. Tried to do a good job, And it was just a tradition that I always wanted to take part in. I just always thought it was cool that the community comes together to like get the stadium ready, I thought that was super dope, and I just wanted to take part in it. And it was a paid gig, so it's like I don't have to feel stupid. I could just I felt more, because you know how I hate the billionaire owners and stuff. So if they were just getting free labor, it'd be like, I don't know. I would have felt weird about it. And the Atlanta airport is big. Yeah, luckily my gates were near each other. The Detroit pizza similar to what pizza used to be like with the nice brown bottom and the brown sides? Yeah, sort of. Like, it's like a deep pan kind of style. Dude, freaking my browser keeps crashing. Chicago Bears are looking good. Yes, they are. Clip the Eagles' wings today. We playing Seattle next. Sure are. I didn't help that you were flying a drone around while you were working. No, I didn't fly my drone around while I was working. I droned before I was working. I was I droned it. We started at 12. I droned it at like 11. Dave from Elk Grove. I would like to be a co-host on Zoom on your show. Donate $100 to be on your show. 5-10 minutes on Zoom. That would be cool because I'm a fan. All right, Dave. You don't need to donate $100, but we can do that. I'll do a call in. One of these Sunday night live streams, I'll do a call in. I don't have it set up right now, but I'll do it. Now you need to go do Lambo. Yeah, for sure. What up, right guy? We meet again. We sure do. He said did the drone before he did his shift. Yeah, I droned it when I first got there before I checked in. So yeah, it was just so unorganized. Nobody knew what was going on. And there was like multiple groups. So there was us that were like the volunteers. And then there was other people that had like vests on that seemed to be like it was their job for real. And then nobody was telling us there was no guidance whatsoever about what was going on. And they had said we were going to get hot dogs and stuff. And I think the worst thing about it, like I can deal with the unorganized because we kind of all understood. Get the snow, put it on the chute, get it out of here, right? But they had no like water for us. Like no, I was like, how do you not just have like stacks of bottled water for everybody? Because it's cold, it's like 20 something degrees, but we are doing manual labor and we're all dehydrated. And then they eventually brought out some water things and they gave us like a cup this big of water. That was ridiculous. And then finally at one point here's the thing. Nobody told us to do this, but somehow I guess maybe someone at the front was told or in another section, and then everybody kind of started going over there. But they had one of the food areas open and they were handing out food. So we get the food. I forgot to film this, by the way, because I was so dehydrated and hungry. It was a little box of food, and it was like a plop of mashed potatoes and a little slab of mystery meat, like super small slab of mystery meat. And I was so hungry that it was smacking. I'm not gonna lie, but it was still like I would have rather just have the hot dog that you said we were gonna get, but it was fine. And there was nothing to drink, so I just got hot chocolate. So it was weird to have hot chocolate with mashed potatoes, but whatever. The people there were super cool. I met a lot of people, talked to a lot of people. Obviously, I had the 49er beanie on. I was wearing the same beanie, so like a lot of people were sparking conversation with that. And I was saying, I got to pay my dues, man. I'm here to pay my dues. Like, I want the whole experience. And I was worn out, man. Like, I put in work, man. I cleared some of those rows. And so if you guys know in our Discord, we've made lists before. We've made lists of like all the stadiums we've been to, all the arenas we've been to and all that. And one time we were all making lists about what fields we have been on or what courts. And we kind of talked about the rules of it, right? So like if you went to, which they're redeveloping, but if you went to like Atlanta Fulton County Stadium site where it was a parking lot and they marked out home plate where Hank Aaron hit the record-breaking home run, that doesn't count because the field's not there anymore. It's still cool, but it doesn't count as being on the field. Like it mostly has to be set up or whatever. So I was like, I got to get on this field. Now, part of me was hoping that after the Bills game, they would rush the field like they have in the past so that I could just get on the field then. But I saw an opening because we're at the stadium. It's all unorganized. It's a mess. And so basically this is what we're doing. We're shoveling snow into chutes, which go down the section. At the very bottom, they dumped it onto the field, like the sidelines. And then there was bobcats that would come in, lift up the snow, and put it on dump trucks, which would drive it out, and they'd shoot it out into this field next door. Okay? So there's like bobcats on the field and stuff. Unfortunately, the field was covered by a big white tarp. But I was like, I got to get on that field somehow. I got to check this one off. Because they're apparently going to demolish the stadium very soon. Like, it's not going to be sitting there rotting away. They're going to demolish it. So I was like, I gotta get on this field. So I went down to a guy who was kind of helping the Bobcats, and he was helping with the bottom of the chute. So I'm thinking maybe he's more in charge than some of the other people, because he seems to actually be working where some of the other guys, I don't know what they're doing. So I go up to him and I was like, hey, I'll give you. It was like him and two other guys. They're standing there, and I'm just like, hey, I'll give you $20 if you let me just take a picture on the field. I was like, I won't cause trouble. I won't do anything wrong. I just want a picture on the field. And they all kind of like look at each other. And in that moment, I could see it was clear that they didn't know who was in charge either. They're just like, would we get in trouble? Or are we going to, can you do that? I don't know. Like, nobody knows what's going on. So I kind of just, I don't want to push the issue, right? But I'm like, think about it, man. Think about it. He like walks onto this other side, and there's like a gate there, so it'd be really easy to hop over. So I walk over there. I'm like, I'm serious, man. I'm serious. And there's this other guy, dude's probably like in his 50s, who's shoveling snow. And I kind of tell him like, oh yeah, I'm trying to just get on the field. I'm trying to take a picture or whatever. Because I think he asked me. I don't think he didn't ask me what I'm talking about, but somehow he got involved in the conversation. I was like, yeah, I'm trying to go on the field. And he's like, just do it, man. Just do it. He's like, I'll take the picture. Just go. Let's just do it. Like, what are they going to say? Blah, blah, blah. He hyped me up. So I just look at the guy who I had asked. And I was like, I'm just going to do it, man. Basically, like, you could have made $20, but I'm just going to do it anyways. And keep in mind, there's no security there. It's like, what are you going to do? Send me home so I don't do manual labor for the rest of the day? Oh, no. And so I just hop over the fence. I set the Osmo down. I give the guy my phone to take a picture. I jump over, and I go to the field, and the guy's like hyping me up. No, stand there. He's like, oh, I'm going to get it with the goalpost, blah, blah, blah. This guy was like, he was like a hippie. It was funny. He's like, yeah, man. Yeah, that's great. Blah, blah. And then when I come back up, he's like, now it's my turn. I was like, all right, man, give me your phone. So he jumps down. I take a bunch of pictures of him on the field. He comes back up. Now we do this. Nothing happens. Nobody says anything. Nobody's pointing fingers. Nothing happens. So that first time, I only went up to the back of the end zone. Right? So I'm like, I need to get on the actual playing field, or where it is. There's a tarp, but I need to be on the actual playing field. So I jump back over, and I go out there, and I go into the end zone, and I walk around the end zone, and I film the stuff that you see in the video. So I did it. I checked it off. I got onto the field at the Ralph. I did it. And that's the type of thing you could be sponsoring. Dr. Brown's Original Cream Soda, flavor favorite for generations. Business email in the description. So yeah, I was just so happy. I was like, I did it. I got on the field. And then I told myself I wasn't gonna do the full day, because they wanted like a full 8-hour shift. I'm like, dude, 8-hour shift, dude. 8-hour shift. So I was like, do I just leave now? Because a couple other people I had talked to, they left. They were like, all right, I got to get out of here. I can't do the whole day or whatever. But here's the thing, dude. If you know me, you know me, dude. You know that I love this stuff. I love stadiums. I stay in stadiums at the end of games until security's looking at me like, buddy, you got to get out of here. I was having too much fun. I couldn't leave. I was like, dude, they're going to tear this place down. It's my first time here. I need every moment I can get. So I stayed. Now, at this point, we had finished all the sections, but there was still a ton of snow and ice. So there was a section we're trying to clear. The ice was literally this thick on the pathway. And they gave us plastic shovels. So we're like trying to break it with plastic shovels. And we got salt. So we're salting it. We're breaking the ice. And then the bobcats are coming down the from the concourse, coming in and picking up, taking it out. It was a whole operation. And the fans were fun, man. Like, the fellow fans were a lot of fun. And yeah, I met some cool people. It was cool. I've been begging him to do a call-in show for almost a year now, finally. Yeah, you have. I always forget to set it up because I have to set up my computer, like that, the programs I use a certain way, and I always forget. As someone with ties to Detroit, Buddies is good. Yeah. Crazy to be rude and bark orders at people who are basically volunteering, even if it was paid to do something to help. No, that's how. Yeah, I was like, bro, you guys are. Stop it. Had heard about shoveling snow at this stadium before you mentioned it, but I still didn't think it was an actual thing. Got to be one of the coolest things ever. Yeah, and it just the community coming together because they love it, and just to get the stadium ready is just super cool. Like the whole idea of it, I just think it's cool. Billionaire owners notwithstanding. Parents told me 30 years ago Buddy's Pizza was even better when it was still a family business. I can imagine. Giving you a prison meal. They damn near treating y'all like prisoners. They kind of did. Guess I've been on the floor at Moda Center, but was not in the basketball configuration. That counts, dude. I've sort of been on the floor at Moda Center, but it was only on the sidelines before a game. Because the sweet little old ladies that work there let me go down. Most people don't know this, but Autzen Stadium at U of O lets you walk onto the field after every game. That's cool. Read they're going to auction parts of the stadium off. Yeah, I've been getting the targeted ads. Now that I went, I would love to get something, but not yet. Thank you, Dylan. That would be cool. Yeah, I'll do it, Dave. I'll do it. Looking forward to it. Just hernia surgery. Oh, man. Get better, dude. Get better. Sorry I'm late. Live on my channel. Oh, dude. I wish I could have seen that. I'll go watch it, but I wish I could have watched live. What a freaking win. Love your snow shoveling video. Thank you, man. I'm going to go watch your video after this. So, yeah, we're there breaking ice. It's, like, dark at this point. And I finally was like, all right, we're just breaking ice at this point. The Bobcats are doing the job. I'm out of here. I go to, and this is, like, already almost the end of the day. So, like, I basically stayed the whole time. And at this point, like almost everyone I had talked to already left. I go down to like where we had checked in to try to check out, and those same young people that were barking orders, they're just it's like a little trailer, right? They're in the little trailer just like goofing off, and I'm just standing there like, and they're just goofing off, dude. And so I just walked away. I'm like, all right, And while I was walking out, this guy who was working, I guess for another company, so there was another company there, he asked for a ride. And I was like, where to? And he's like, so he said some place. I was like, I've never been here. This is my first time in Buffalo, so I don't know where that is. Like, how far is it? Like, which direction? How far? And he barely knew. I'm like, dude, how do you live there and you don't know what direction? That was weird. But he said it was 15 minutes or something. I'm like, yeah, no problem, dude. I got you. Because he said, otherwise I have to walk in the cold. And I'm just like, all right. Uber does exist. I think they have it in Orchard Park. I don't know. But I was like, whatever, dude. I'm like, dude, he's a kind and generous person, right? So I'm like, yeah, I got you. But then he had to go check out somewhere else completely, I guess. And he's like, oh, look for me, my brown jacket. He's wearing a brown jacket. And he's like, just look for my brown jacket. I was like, all right. I was like, I'm parked in this parking lot right here. Like, just meet me right here. And I just hit Brandon Belt's head. I'm like, just meet me in the parking lot right here or whatever. So I go wait at my trailer. They're goofing off. I just walk away. They're like not even acknowledging that I'm standing right there. So I leave, and I walk like past the parking lot and I don't see this guy. So then I go to the team store, which is still open, and I got some swag. So I'll show you guys the swag. Dang it, I didn't have the shirt. I'll show you guys the shirt another time. I did show it in the video though, the farewell high mark shirt. And I got some show and tell. I'll show you guys in a moment. So I go in there, I go to the team store, and I ask if they have the farewell pin. They didn't, but they said we open at noon tomorrow. Game time was 4:20 or 4:25. Like, we open at noon, and we're supposed to get more tomorrow. I'm like, perfect. I will check in tomorrow. And I bought the shirt. And I bought oh, you know what? I packed it in a box I shipped. I got like a little buffalo shot glass too, just to put on my shelf. So then I go to the parking lot. I'm messing with the Ralph Wilson statue. I'm just wandering around, and I walk through the parking lot. I can't find this guy. I'm kind of waiting a little bit, can't find him. I get in the car, I'm driving around, can't find him. I drive around to a different parking lot, which was like towards the direction he went, can't find him. Drive back to the original parking lot, drive around, can't find him. So this was in the video at the very end. I don't know what happened, man, but I tried. I swear to God, if you were looking for me, I did not abandon you. I did tell him the name of the channel, so maybe he'll see the video and see that I was driving around looking for him. Or he found another ride and just, I don't know, whatever. I hope he's okay. But I was pretty worn out, so I go back to the room to watch the 49er game against the Seahawks, and we lost. That wasn't fun. And I was going to go to Bar Bill. So Bar Bill Tavern is like the famous tavern. There's other ones where like, oh, we invented the wing and all that. But Bar Bill is super popular. And there's two of them now. So I go drive by it because I'm like, let me go get some Bar Bill to go watch the Niner game at the hotel room. Or I'm like, if Bar Bill has the game on, maybe I can just watch it there. I drive by, the line's out the door. I'm like, all right, never mind. And then, so I'm driving back to the hotel. I'm like, you know what? I'll just get McDonald's, dude. Because there's a McDonald's right across the street from the hotel. I'm like, I'm worn out. I don't care. I just need to eat something. All I had was the mystery meat. And I'm driving by and I see Ted's. And I was like, oh, someone recommended this. So I stop at Ted's. They do like these amazing hot dogs. So I got a hot dog. I got some like cheese fries. And I got a Loganberry shake, and it was, dude, not sponsored, but it can be, dude. Ted's, if you need help expanding to the West Coast, dude, it was fire. So Ted's is like another really old establishment. It was beautiful, okay? And then I go watch the Niners get whooped. And so the next day, get up, go to the Niner game. Not the Niner game, the Bills game. What's cool is next week I'll be seeing my cousin who lives in the Ballard neighborhood of Seattle. It's a travesty. That's cool. It's a travesty that Buffalo can't keep the Ralph made in their own Lambo. I agree. Buffalo wings bone in or boneless? They're bone in, which is why I'm not a fan, dude. I'm a boneless guy, dude. Talk to my lawyers. Talk to my lawyers, dude. I might be the only one. I might be the only one in the world, and I don't care because I'm right. You're paying, if you get bone in, you're paying for bones and cartilage and stuff that you can't even eat, dude. When I get boneless, everything you see is edible. I get to have every piece of that all the mass that I pay my hard-earned money for, I get to eat. You guys are paying more money often for stuff you can't even eat. And I don't want to hear, oh, it tastes better or whatever. You're not a man if you don't blah, blah, blah. Talk to my lawyers, dude. I win. Tell me that stuffed animal Ted has a food establishment. So, I had mentioned before, I got 2 tickets to the Bills game. and I was looking for someone to go with me. So I offered it up to the Bills fans. I was like, if someone wants to go, just be my tour guide. Show me around, hang out, maybe take a picture or two for me. The ticket's yours, dude. A $300-something ticket, fourth row. Fourth freaking row, dude, at the last game at the Ralph. Okay? And a couple people reached out. One guy, he has like a huge social media following. So I was like, that would have been cool because he does content. So I was like, that would have been cool, but he couldn't make it. So he ended up not being able to go. I ended up going with this guy named Joe. So shout out Joe. He works for Labatt's, the beer company. And Labatt's has a suite at the Ralph. So he was able to get us in the suite and all that, which was awesome. So I get there early. Not as early as I wanted because I had trouble sleeping. And I was so tired from shoveling snow all day. But then I had trouble sleeping because I get restless leg syndrome, dude. He's got issues, okay? I get there right off Abbott Street. Right off Abbott Street, I find a place to park. And, you know, that part was easy, which I was also worried about. Because what I had said is I wanted to do the whole experience. So shoveling snow, and I also wanted to just park in someone's yard. You know, I didn't want to just park in the parking lot. I wanted to park in someone's yard because that's part of the thing, you know? So luckily that was easy. It's like everybody. It's like you could just, if you get there early, especially because I got there early enough where there was like almost no traffic. Not no traffic, but it was easy to navigate. It's like every yard is like, you can park here, you can park here, you can park here. So I found a yard right down the street from the stadium, in between both stadiums, the new one and the Ralph. And it was $40 cash. They had a porta potty in the lot right there. It was perfect. So I parked there. I tried to drone again, and they still had the field covered. And I'm like, I want to get it with the field uncovered. So I was like, all right, got to put the drone away, start filming, and then maybe if I have time, come back and drone it again when they uncover the field. But there's rules against, like, you can't drone a certain time frame before and after an event. So it's like 2 hours before the event. So basically, like, 2:20 is like my cutoff. If I can't drone it after that legally. But you guys know I skirt the rules sometimes, dude. But I was like, all right, I'm going to try to come back at like 1:30 and do it. Because I'm like, by then they should have the field uncovered. So anyways, I start filming, dude. There's snow everywhere. It's so fun. There's just yards. It just looks like a Christmas story. Just straight up Rust Belt community. It was so dope. And I go to Hammer's lot, which is like kind of the most famous of the lots. They're doing shots out of the bowling ball. Pizza Pete is making pizza and he's cooking chicken wings in a mailbox. You know, like all this fun stuff. You'll see it in the video. The video will be out soon. And yeah, it was just so much fun. And the whole time there was only one rude Bills fan. And she probably drank a little. She's probably like in her 20s. She comes up to me. She's like, 49ers or whatever. And I'm like, or she said something, hate your beanie, or hey, I hate that. Something, I don't know. And I was like, Josh Allen would like it. And she's like, excuse me? I was like, Josh Allen was a Niner fan. She looks at me dead in the eye and just goes, F you. And I'm like, what? I was like, F me? I was like, I just shoveled snow in your stadium yesterday. I paid my dues. You can't talk to me like that. And she's like, you did? I was like, yeah. And she goes to like high five me like, oh. And I'm like, no, get out of here. Right? I'm like, get out of here. And then the other lady she's with like goes like this to me, like I'm the problem. Like, get out of here, buddy. I'm like, what? She just got in my face. But that was the only rude Bills fan. Like other Bills fans were like, joked a little bit, but they weren't rude about it. There was another guy who kept, because we were talking about me doing my video or whatever, he just kept making Mr. Beast jokes. Are you Mr. Beast? Oh, Mr. Beast. And he saw me a couple times, like around the tailgate. And he's like, oh, it's Mr. Beast. Oh, and I'm just like, dude, it wasn't funny the first time, you know? Be clever, dude, you know? But anyways, yeah, so I went to like freaking 5 different lots just looking at the stuff, you know? And I ran back to the car. I droned it. Field was uncovered, dude. So I got my drone shots just in the nick of time. Dude, Bills fans were offering me stuff. They were awesome, dude. They were awesome. They're just fun. They're just fun, man. There was a lot of Jets fans there. Way more than I expected. There was a couple other Niner fans there. We had fun little moments together. Yeah, dude, it was cool. This one guy kept saying Jeff Gordon was going to be there, the NASCAR driver, and I was like, all right, that he's from the Bay, so that'd be cool. But I never saw Jeff Gordon, so I don't know. What else, man? And then I met up with Joe, and he was just a fun vibe, dude, like just good vibes. And so it was a lot of fun. We go into the stadium. Oh, also earlier at like 11:20, right? I start heading closer to where the team store is, because I'm like, all right, they said they're opening at noon. I want to get the pin. I go to like 11:20, and it's freezing cold, so all the doors are closed and stuff. They're not like propped open, so I'm like walking up, and it's all closed, so I can't see anything. But then I see people walking out. I'm like, wait a second, wait a gosh darn minute, dude. So I walk up, the store was open. It's like 11:20. I was like, well, what's going on here? So I walk in. I said, do you have the farewell pin? He said, no, we don't have the farewell pin, but we do have the game day pin. So I'm like, okay, I'll take 3 of those. So here's the game day pin. It has the stadium, has the Jets, has the date. It says Highmark Stadium. It's a nice little pin, dude. It's a nice little pin. So I did at least get the game day pin. Yeah, then I meet up with Joe. He meets up with some people that he knows in like the main lot. There was a bunch of tailgates I swung by. There's a couple of people who had invited me to tailgates, so I went to a few of them. There was one that was like way down this other street, and this whole neighborhood, like all the front yards are tailgates. It was so cool, and I like had to trounce through a yard of snow to get to one. Like it was just super cool, man. Like just those Rust Belt towns are just, I just love it. I just freaking love it. The vibe of Buffalo, I think it's in my blood, man, because I got like family history there. So I just loved it. I love the Rust Belt, dude. Sue me, dude. Talk to my lawyers. Dr. Brown's cream soda, dude, not sponsored, but it can be. Business email in the description if any fine folks from Dr. Brown's are in the chat. I just vibe with it. I really do. So there was one tailgate that was like way tucked in the back. It was like darn near in the woods. They had invited me. And one guy, dang it, I cannot remember his name. There was a couple of them. They were so friendly. They did this like German Bills chant, which was fun. That'll be in the video. They had a dog walking around, his cute little dog, dude. He's going to be in the video. They did a raffle, so like people were winning like jerseys and stuff, which was cool. Yeah, there was a couple. You'll see in the videos, man. I tried to get everyone that was nice to me and invited me to stuff. I tried to get at least a clip of them to put in the video so that they're always part of that, that final moment with the Ralph. So, Joe was cool. He's like, what do you want to do? What do you need to do? Or whatever. So I was like, I'm trying to go in early, make sure we get the giveaway, dude. Okay? Are you guys ready for this awesome giveaway. Dylan loves the chicken nuggets. I do, and you know that, God bless Wingstop for sure. You also get more meat, so why would you pay for bone? That Paul, there's more people. There's more of us than I thought, dude. We're gonna start a coalition. Do you fraternize with the Bills Mafia? Yeah, they were awesome. You're also supporting a small business homeowner than a large corporation. Yeah, 100%. Did you smash a table? So no, most of the lots have rules against smashing tables. So you have to go to like the outskirts lots, like the lots way out. And not everyone can smash the table because it's like really only one person gets to do it because then it's broken. So I didn't do that. I wanted to. But someday, hopefully, if I can go back and check off the new stadium, I will try to set that up. So I'm leaving a little something, a little meat on the bone, you might even say, for next time. So yeah, we're gonna jump through a table next time, hopefully. I couldn't find anyone that would let me do it. And also, I wanted to go in early to make sure I got the giveaway because it was too awesome. You're so lucky I didn't designate the whole area as a no-fly zone in the app. Yeah, so usually, though, with the stadiums, it's just 2 hours before and after you got to worry about. But, like, San Francisco is way harder to fly in than it used to be. Even though it's in the state of New York, for some reason, Buffalo feels more like Midwestern town. For sure, Western New York is definitely way different than, New York City. Only thing worse than a joke that's not funny is when they keep repeating it. Yeah. Then you tell them it's not funny. They're like, don't be sensitive. It's like, no, you're actually not funny. Yeah, that was my thing with the Mr. Beast joke. I'm like, dude, all right, man. I wish I could laugh along with you, but he was just drunk, dude. I'm an outsider, but Buffalo doesn't feel like Boston or New York or Philly. Yeah, it doesn't. I'm telling you, man, you're going to love Lambeau. It's even better because they literally have houses on the parking lot. Yeah, dude, I want to go so bad. My experience, people from Midwest Rust Belt are far nicer. They were all nice, man. Smashing tables sounds like something that would drown the Bills in lawsuits. Yeah, I think that's what it is. So I go in early, and there was 2 giveaways. So first one from Ticketmaster was a rally towel, and it's like a ticket. So what you do is it's blank here, so you could take a Sharpie and write your section, row, and seat. Admit 1, January 2026, has the final regular season home game. Ended up being the final game ever. So that's a rally towel. I always like a rally towel. But the good giveaway. Now, apparently, they did this for the very first game at the Ralph. For the very first game at the Ralph, they gave away a commemorative coin. I would love to track one down someday. But the giveaway is this commemorative coin. Now, obviously, on the live stream with my webcam, it's not gonna. It's hard to see, but it's good quality, dude. It's got the farewell logo on it. It has the date. It says Buffalo Bills versus New York Jets, final regular season home game. The back of it has the Bills logo. It says January 2026, Highmark Stadium. It's funny, too, because all these giveaway things don't say the specific date. They just say January 2026, just in case the game got flexed, which I was worried about, but luckily it wasn't. And luckily it was like a evening game. But, dude, a beautiful coin. And then it's got this, says I was there. And it says, I was there. Whereas Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park, New York, has a capacity of 70,000 spectators. And whereas, dude, why is this? My browser keeps dying. And whereas history has shown that at least 10 times that number will claim to have been in attendance at the final regular season game. Be it known that this card has been given only to those persons actually passing through the portals of the home of the Buffalo Bills for the commemorative game. From this day forward, the bearer is known as fan 66,928 of 70,000 in attendance at Highmark Stadium, home of the Buffalo Bills. So these were all numbered. And the funny thing is, I went in early, and somehow I almost got one of the last numbers. So they must have been backwards. They must have started at the top or something. But it's basically a commemorative coin, so you can prove that you were there. Just so cool. I can't wait to make a little display of it in my display case. Just awesome. Just awesome. I love stupid stuff like this, you know? I love stupid little souvenirs and knickknacks. I love it. So I got my card. I was there, dude. That with the final game pin. Come on. We did good, folks. And I also got the shirt, which I forgot to wear. You already know that new stadium will probably have even more strict rules than the Ralph about breaking tables. Well, that's why, like, all the official lots or the famous lots do have those rules already. You got to go to the outskirt lots where it's lawless, you know? You gotta go out there. Yeah, so we go in. I go to the tippy top, of course. The only thing that kind of sucked was like the snow was all cleared off the field, and it was snowing a little bit to start the game, but then it stopped snowing. So like, I don't know. I'm. It's been on my bucket list to go to a snow game, you know. So I'm weird. I just don't know if I should count this. There's snow everywhere. I shoveled snow out of the stadium, but the snow did not have an effect on the game, and I feel like for it to count as a real snow game, there needs to be snow on the field. What do you guys think? Do I count this as a snow game, or do I have to keep chasing that ever elusive snow game? But we go down to the seats, dude. 5th row, dude. We're right there, and it's a small stadium. Ralph Wilson is tiny. It seats a lot, but the actual dimensions are tiny. It's the smallest stadium I've been in besides like StubHub Center where the Chargers were playing temporarily. Like, it's tiny. I swear there's Texas high schools with bigger stadiums than this. Now that might be overdoing it, but it's a small stadium. So 5th row with a tiny little sideline, we were right there, dude. We were right there. They have a great intro video. We saw the Conehead guy. He sells beer. There's a lot of, you know, the well-known fans and workers and stuff. They had the owner comes out, does his thing. You know, I don't like the owners. And they have the intro. Josh Allen runs out. Josh Allen takes one snap and he hands it off to James Cook. And then he sits the rest of the game because there's no implications. And I was just like, I thought he would at least do a series, like a preseason game. I thought he'd do a series. He did one snap and he didn't even throw the ball. But Mitch Trubisky comes out and he actually did his thing, and the Bills stomped the Jets. It was embarrassing. Embarrassing, dude. They killed him. And then there were so many characters there, dude. There were so many characters. I was talking to everyone around me and exchanging stories, and it was just cool to hear. There were so many different generations, so many different stories. There was actually a ton of fans not from Buffalo. There's people who it was their first game as well, and they were Bills fans. So it was just everybody had a different story, and that was kind of cool. And because the Bills is one of those kind of small town teams. It's like the Packers, dude. The surrounding area of Green Bay does not have enough fans for how big the Packers fan base is, you know? And I feel like it's like that with the Bills. Obviously there's a lot of people there, but you know what I mean. So yeah, dude, it was fun. And then at halftime, I didn't think this through, but Joe was like, we should go to the suite at halftime. I was like, cool. I was like, I just want to check it out. I don't want to spend too much time there because I want most of my experience to be in the crowd with the people. You know me, dude. He's a man of the people, and that's that. So I'm like, all right. but I want to see the suite, right? It's my only chance. They're going to tear this place down. So we go to the Labatt's suite. I meet some of the Labatt's people, the movers and shakers of Labatt's. It was so hot in the suite, and obviously I'm dressed for snow weather. So I have head to toe thermals. I got a whole balaclava on. I got a beanie on. I got a jacket on. I got a hoodie and a jacket on. I have boot liners and snow socks. So I'm dying in there. And I didn't want to be in there long enough where I wanted to like undo, my ninja outfit that's underneath everything. So, I took a couple beers to give another guy I had shoveled snow with, because Labatt's, they just had a fridge full of beer. Like, go ahead, do your thing. So I got to see the suite, which was super cool. I got to see 2 suites, actually. Really cool view from the suite, actually. It was, I think, a cooler view than most stadium suites, because it was Arco Arena had suites like this actually when we went in. The suites are very low. They don't feel disconnected. So when you're looking out the window of the suite, you see the whole section in front of you. So even though you're inside, you kind of feel like you're still part of it. Just a really nice view. Not too high, and not too disconnected. But what I didn't think of, because I'm a dum-dum, we go in there at the start of halftime, or right before halftime. I'm like, oh shoot, they're doing a halftime presentation. Thurman Thomas is going to be there. Dude, Andre Reed's going to be there. What am I doing? I can't just be in the suite for that. So I run outside and go down to the closest section so I can see the presentation. Now, I'll be honest, dude. The halftime presentation was incredibly lackluster. For the final game, you could have did better than that. But at least they were there. And they played a really cool video with Marv Levy and stuff. And I got some amazing clips of some fans that were getting emotional, and it was beautiful. And I got to see Thurman Thomas and Andre Reed, dude. So get out of here. Get out of here. I love those guys. And then I ended up going back to my seats for the second half of the game. It was fun, dude. People were throwing snow everywhere. It was cool. And let me catch up. I called it a freezer game. Okay, you shoveled snow. It's a snow game. Shot simple. I don't mind that. If you go off property line in the new build stadium, you'll be fine. Yeah, basically. It's partial credit. Okay. If you really want a snow game, you're probably going to have to go to New England. New England. Pittsburgh gets a couple. Lambeau gets some. Broncos are looking to build a new place, but they get some sometimes. So, yeah, I have a few other options, but they're going away quick because they're putting these places, they're putting these teams in domes. Now, Buffalo can still get snow games because the new stadium is going to be open, but it's a different experience because most of the seats are going to be covered. Recently, I heard the Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle has butter chicken. That sounds good. Call it a freezer game. Did you see Pinto Ron? I did see Pinto Ron. I did not see him cover himself with ketchup and mustard because he does that like right before game time, and I had to go in. So I missed that, but I did see him, and he's in the video. Anyone says otherwise, they can talk to your lawyers. I kind of agree with that, yeah. Heard towards the end of the game they played Iris. Yes, they did. Google was always probably a famous Buffalo band. Yep. I think the Packers benefit from the fact practically everyone in Wisconsin is a diehard Packer fan. Yeah, for sure. Do you have a Labatt sponsorship now? I was trying, dude. I was trying. I don't know if you could call that a snow game. Bay Area throwbacks. Always preying on my downfall. Pittsburgh would be dope. Such a dope city. Yeah, I want to go to Pittsburgh so bad. PNC Park is like in my top 3 ballparks I want to see. I got to do Pittsburgh. And there's some cool history stuff there I want to do. So, it was a blowout game. No drama, no tension. Here's the thing. It was the final game. So there was, with a final game, there's a different feeling in the air. There's a different feeling in the air. This game had no playoff implications. A lot of the stars weren't playing. It was a blowout. So with all those things said, I will say that this stadium was one of the quietest NFL games I've ever been to. Which was a little bit of a letdown because everyone says how crazy Bills fans are. But it could have been because of those reasons I said. No playoff implications, whatever. But in my head, I'm like, this is the last game at the Ralph, dude. You gotta get crazy. So even on like third down, like a big third down, it was kind of tepid. It wasn't. But everyone was in a good mood. Everyone's having a good time. It just wasn't like rowdy. It was just more like, we're chilling, we're having a good time, we're high-fiving, and we're having fun. It was more that vibe than like rowdy. And that, like I said, in all fairness, that could be because it was kind of a meaningless game. But to me, it's not meaningless because it's the last, But, maybe it just didn't bring that same kind of tension and excitement that gets people rowdy. So that was kind of a bummer because I really wanted to hear it loud if that was, if that was the reputation. And it was definitely jarring because Levi's the week before was so loud against the Bears. So it was kind of jarring to just be like, oh, it's so quiet. Like on third down, when it's like, get loud, it's third down, you could just like have a conversation. It was, So, but again, this is not my final say, right? I understand it was a weird situation. You don't want to go to Pittsburgh, man? It's a dump? Dude, the Pittsburgh seems so awesome. I like dumps, right? I like the dirty. I like the... PNC Park is one of my favorite ballparks. The view of the yellow bridge and the skyline behind, for sure. A lot of people were drunk, sad, because there's a lot of people that can't afford the new stadiums. Literally probably sitting there crying, for sure. Maybe they're bigger tailgate fans than football fans. It could be. Maybe they wear themselves out with the tailgate. It was difficult going to Pittsburgh as Penguins play during the winter when it's cold. Hard to get there from the West Coast. Yeah, I mean, that was why it's hard to get to a snow game for me. It wasn't easy getting there, So game ends and and I will say, like, for the anthem and stuff, they had a flyover of some helicopters. There was like an Apache, I think it was. It was an Apache or a Cobra helicopter, and then like a bigger transport helicopter, and I don't know, something else. But it was like really late, so everyone was like, "Oh, I guess there's no flyover. Maybe the weather, they canceled it." And then all of a sudden they come over, and there was a whole lot of like USA chants, which with everything going on, I felt was a little gauche, It was a little like, all right, let's calm down, dude. A lot of bad things happening right now. So anyways, yeah, after the game, they played, I think, another video. And then, yeah, they played Iris by the Google Dolls, which is obvious. If everyone loves that song. It's definitely one of my favorite songs. And yeah, they're from Buffalo. So they played that song with a video montage. It's emotional. The whole stadium singing. It was beautiful. I was singing, of course, dude. I got to let the angelic voice sing. So that was beautiful. And, yeah, people started crying, and what I say this in the video, like, you think about what those places mean, man. And like, there really is like two kinds of people where there's people that are just like, someone just left a comment on my candlestick video literally last week, and they're like, good riddance, place was a dump, you couldn't get out of there, blah, blah, blah. That kind of person, get out of here, dude. My lawyers will be in touch, right? I don't God bless you, but I don't want to deal with that kind of person. I don't like that person around me, or I don't need to interact with them. It's go do your thing, dude. That's not my kind of people, okay? My kind of people, like I said, is people like who see the poetry in life, dude. Who feel the connection and feel the emotions and feel that you don't just need the the flashiest new stadium to be happy. Because it's not about the stadium, dude. What was special about Candlestick was not the concrete. What was special was the people that showed up there. The strangers you high-fived. The parents and grandparents that took you to games, that passed on, and they're no longer with us to take us to games. That's the stuff that matters. And those places are places where you congregate. You know? So, yeah, the new stadium might be awesome. It might be amazing. It might have the best amenities, and that's going to be awesome. That's cool. Things change. I get it. But that doesn't mean anyone should ever discount or discredit or dismiss someone's feelings and emotions about losing a place that was very, very special, that they built a lot of special memories at. Because I guarantee you there's a lot of people in that crowd when Iris is playing and it's all emotional. And this is the last time they will ever be there. And they're thinking about, oh, my grandpa loved the Bills. He watched every Bills game. He took me to a couple games here when I was a kid. And he passed away 8 years ago or something, you know? And he's not here to see this, and I wish he was here. So that's why these places matter, and that's why they're special. And that's why, as much as I hate the billionaires and the owners, I will still continue to go to these places. And yes, I will rally against the billionaire owners, and I will support community-funded teams, and I will try to push a better model of sports, and I will try to undercut these billionaires any way I can, and educate people on the financials and the way that they scam taxpayers. I will do all that, but I still want to go because I still want to be part of communities. I still want to be part of humanity and like I said, the poetry of life. And so, yeah, I'm not a Bills fan. I'm not from Buffalo. It was my first time in Buffalo since I was 2 years old. And I'm so thankful I got to spend those moments with those amazing fans and those amazing families and the fathers, mothers, sons, daughters, grandparents, aunties, uncles, nephews, nieces, all those people who grew up going to that place. And I got to, just for one time, share that with them. And that's why it matters. And so I can't stand the people who are like, oh, good riddance, what a dump, the place is blah, blah, blah. You know? Hit the road, dude. Hit the road. My lawyers are drafting up paperwork, and they're going to serve you soon. The Ralph was awesome. And that's that, dude. And I'm sure Highmark 2 is going to be great. It looks fun. I'm sure the concourses are going to be wider, easier to navigate. Concessions will be easier to get. There's going to be a lot of cool benefits. But it's not going to be the place you grew up going to with your family. And with family members that are no longer there and friends that are no longer there. Your childhood that's no longer there. Youth, you know, where you spend, you know, time in your youth, those places will always be cool and always matter and always be part of your heart. Yeah, and that's that. You a Mac Miller fan? I do like Mac Miller, yes. So what's funny is I never really liked Mac Miller's like hip hop stuff. I like his more like experimental and like kind of like soulful stuff. So I usually prefer his later stuff because he got more experimental. And his like earlier just hip hop rapidy rap stuff is like I respect it and it's cool, but it's just I don't really listen to it. It's not for me. Buffalo does seem kind of conservative. It a little bit, but I don't know. I always join in on the USA chant. We're still blessed to live here. I don't know. I mean, okay, you know, somewhat. Greenland has, you know, guaranteed health care, education. I think it has free college, super, like, very good quality of life and happiness rating. Anyways, but yeah, it's not that I'm not grateful. I come from a very privileged place, but it's hard for me to chant something that is making people's lives worse and, threatening to take over another country just cause. Maybe we're following this. New York State is trending right, still safe. Yeah, some of the other places are. The memories matter the most, for sure. KC Chiefs leaving Arrowhead. Yeah, I gotta go to Arrowhead soon. Also, for old stadiums, the memories are more important. Some stadium cages are rich. Yeah, for sure. Don't care how much of a dump the place was. If I had good memories there, then that's what matters. Yep. I know the feeling, man. My grandpa's the reason I'm a 49er fan I am today. He passed in '03. I wish he was around and enjoy days like this with me. For sure, man. 100% feel that. Even though I'm not a fan of the same team, my grandpa loved the New York Giants. Would have been cool if I went to a Seahawks-Giants game in the Meadowlands. Yeah, that would be dope. Grandfather of mine was born in the Bronx. He grew up in Ireland. Wow. Did any of the locals invite you back for when the new stadium opens? I think we talked about it, but not like a open invite. So Iris plays. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It was really cool. The pyro goes off. It was awesome. It was awesome. But then, sorry to go negative, but then they almost immediately just want to kick us out, and obviously people want to linger. And they had brought out a whole bunch of law enforcement and security guards, way more than normal, because Buffalo has a reputation of storming the field after a big game. They've done it before, and everyone's talking about it. They're murmuring, they can't stop all of us, There's not 70,000 of them, like that kind of stuff. So towards the end of the fourth quarter, they make a ring around the field. So I'm not tripping because I'm like, I already got on the field, so I'm okay. But I was like, if everyone storms the field, though, I think I'm going to pop down there real quick, toe tap that grass, and then be out. But it didn't happen. Everyone starts leaving. And security starts just yelling at us to leave or whatever. I wait for the section to clear out, and I'm in the fifth row. Sorry, I'm still sick. I'm waiting to go to the first row real quick to just take a photo. I just want to stand there with a photo, right? No big deal. I go down. There's an usher right there. I'm like, I'm just taking a quick photo, whatever. He looks at me kind of like, right? I'm like, whatever, dude. It's going to take 8 seconds. I go to take the photo. A security guard behind me on the field. So he's 5 feet below me and 8 feet behind me, right? I can't remember exactly what he said, but he was incredibly rude. And he's just like, time to go, or something like that. Like, dude, it's the last game ever. And you just want to be a prick? Like, look, just be like, hey man, after this photo, we gotta clear this out. Like we gotta start going. We gotta whatever. I still think that's nonsense. If I ran the Buffalo Bills or the stadium or whoever's in charge, I would be like, dude, you guys can hang out, dude. Sleep over. I don't care. Just don't break stuff. Just don't break stuff, and I'll let you guys chill. And even if you break stuff, whatever, we're demolishing the place anyways. Like, I don't understand. And someone said to me, because did I post on TikTok? I don't know, somewhere. Someone was just like, well, they want to go home or whatever. I'm like, then get a security guard that cares about the Ralph, dude. Get a security guard that wants to hang out with us at this stadium, this legendary, iconic stadium that's going away, dude. All right? And that's that, dude. Talk to my lawyers. Okay? So anyways, he says like, time to leave. He says something really rude, right? Now, if you don't know about me, this is one of the reasons I'm afraid to go to a Philly Niners game, like today. Eagles-Niners game. It's really hard for me to let things slide. Now, while most people would be like, God, that guy was rude, and just not let it affect their day, I will let it affect everything in my life. It's not a good quality. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's noble, dude, because I'll stand up for the little guy, but it's not always noble. Sometimes I need to learn to let go. But in that moment, I traveled across the country. I shoveled snow, right? I wasn't going to let it go. So I turned around and I just stared at him. I stared at him. And I wait for him to look back at me. He looks back at me. I continue staring at him. And I say, you could be nicer about it. And then he said something kind of just mumbled. I don't even know what he said. He's kind of mumbled something and like looked away, basically. And when he said it, I just went. Something like that. I was like, get out of here. Like, shut up, dude. And he pissed me off. Like, dude, go work somewhere else. You know? Like, dude, that's... Like, I hate... Like I said, these places mean so much to us as fans. They mean so much to us as people who love our families and our friends that we go to these games with. These places mean so much to us. It's a place I had never been, and it meant so much to me since I was a kid. And I watched the Buffalo Bills, and I watched Thurman Thomas when they were, always saw their games because they were so good. And I always wanted to go there. And so it's so annoying when there's someone who works there that it's just a job and they just don't care and they're just like, whatever. And I'm not saying he can't tell me it's time to go or whatever. But just don't be rude about it, dude. And there's such a difference when you meet someone that works at a venue and they obviously have the same kind of love and respect for it and for the fans and for the community that even makes it a thing, dude. Think of like the Oakland Coliseum. There were so many great vendors, ushers, security guards that loved that place. And then there's the other ones that were just annoying. I mean, it's like that everywhere, right? Oracle Park is the same thing. There's some ushers I've seen. They're such sweetie pies, dude. And then there's the other ushers that like are just tyrants. And it's like, dude, go do something else. Can we hire people that are fans like we are? Not so that we have free reign. I'm not saying that. But if I want to get a final picture at this stadium that's been there for 53 years, that's about to be demolished, you could at least have the patience to wait 4 seconds or just be nice about telling me it's time to go. That's all, dude. I'm not asking for much. Wait, were you there in a suite tonight? No, I'm at home sick. Was there awesome places to eat in Buffalo? Yeah, I'll talk about that in a moment too. My gramps worked at a school with a ton of ESL students who came to the country recently, helped out tons of immigrant children and their families. That's cool. Insane to not let people enjoy it one last time. Yeah, dude, let us linger one time. More specifically, I'd rather see a Seahawks-Giants game at the old Meadowlands. Yeah, that would have been dope. They want to go home. Sorry, the job is one where you need to expect to stay a little later sometimes, especially when it's a historic game. That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, how about just clock out and leave then? Because they're tearing it down anyways. MetLife Stadium feels soulless. Probably, yeah. So yeah, that pissed me off. And then Joe, who I was with, and a couple other people that were shoveling snow with me, they asked me for a ride home. It's like, all right, you got to bear with me. I got to... I'm still sick. I'm sorry. Talk to my lawyers. I told him, I was like, you got to bear with me because I'm going to wait a little while. I want to try to drone it again and get some night shots. So we went. Did I go? I don't even remember where I went after. Oh, after they're like pushing us out by the gates too. I'm just like, dude, what is... This is a historic game, dude. This is the last game ever at this stadium. And you guys are just like clearing it out. Like, I just don't get it, dude. I just don't understand people that don't where everything's just like strict and rigid and by the book, and it's like, can you just like let your soul guide you for a moment, you know? So yeah, we had to wait forever to get out of there. It was just the whole area was just a parking lot. But I was able to drone it. Got the night shots, which looked beautiful. We finally got out of there. I give them a ride home, get them home safe and sound. I try to go to Bar Bill again, and this time it says they close at 11. I get there at like 10:20, so I'm like right under the wire, and they're like, we already closed the kitchen. I'm like, dang it. So second time to try to go to Bar Bill, failed, dude. So then the next day I get up and I go to, I'll talk about this more later when I do the episode, but I go to the Eternal Flame waterfall hike. Look it up if you haven't seen it. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Totally worth the hike. Much more difficult hike than I expected. It wasn't easy. In the snow was so while I was there, this day the weather warmed up a little bit, about 10 degrees. So the weather went from like mid-20s with wind chill to about mid-30s. Just over freezing, right? So I go on this hike, which is you got to hike down a creek, and in the snow and in the ice, the creek is like frozen over in some parts. It's running in other parts. You can't really see a trail. You just kind of have to navigate it, right? So I get there and I'm talking trash because I'm filming. I filmed a video there. I'm talking trash about that I'm a supreme athlete and I'll never slip and fall. Because I was slipping all over the place, but I would never fall. It's like, I'm Barry Sanders, dude. You can't take me down, okay? Unfortunately, while I was down at the waterfall filming, it was continuing to warm up. So on my way back down the creek, the ice was a lot softer than it was when I came in. Therefore, the ice was cracking beneath my feet, and I fell into the creek a couple times. Sue me. Sue me, dude. I slipped and fell a couple times. One of them was a big one. A whole chunk of ice cracked underneath my feet. Luckily, the creek was only like this deep, so it wasn't crazy, but it was enough to get me off balance. And luckily, I fell right into a big pile of powdery snow, so it didn't hurt at all. But it was a spill. I'll tell you that much. It was a spill. Oh, another thing. Okay, I posted this on Instagram. In the parking lot, before the Bills game, right when we're about to go in, my camera falls. It lands on top on the microphone, and it breaks my microphone holder. So I had, luckily, Joe, I thought it was his aunt, but it might be his friend's aunt. Luckily, she had electrical tape in her car, so I taped my microphone to my camera. Got to hodgepodge it together, dude. And so I still have the taped camera this next day. And luckily, nothing too crazy happened. But I get out of there. It was fun, dude. It was fun. And then that night, I go to get Bar Bill. I got a little members only video coming soon about Bar Bill. Now, Bar Bill's known for the wings, but they have these two amazing pizzas. They have a chicken wing pizza, and they have a honey honey barbecue garlic chicken pizza. Something like, I can't even remember, dude. I'm like, I need one of these pizzas. I asked the waitress, which do you recommend? She says the honey butter barbecue chicken pizza or whatever. I get that. Insane, dude. Insane. Might be the best pizza I've ever had in my life. Incredible, dude. I'm going to think about it forever. And anytime I ever go to Buffalo, it's non-negotiable. I'm getting that pizza. So, bar bill, I didn't even have the wings, and that place is worth the hype, dude. Worth the hype. Like I said, might be the best pizza I've ever had. Talk to my lawyers. They're on retainer, dude. They're ready to go. I got them in my back pocket. Talk to my lawyers. Bar bill, honey butter, barbecue chicken, pizza, whatever. Like, I think of Bronco Billy's and Niles. I think of freaking Golden Boy's phenomenal. I think it was Not Ray's in Brooklyn, New York was phenomenal. This might be my favorite ever. And that's that, dude. Talk to my lawyers. Oh, Jake's of Sunnyvale. Used to be Boardwalk in Mountain View, but they tore it down. Jake's of Sunnyvale has a barbecue chicken pizza. If you're ever in the South Bay, phenomenal. It was incredible. And then I wanted to take some photos. I got a new flash, a big flash for my camera, right? I don't do a lot of photos with my camera. A lot of people want photos and they ask about photos. I don't really do photos. I'm not a good photo guy. I'm more of a video guy, right? But I got a little flash to test, and I got a big, nice flash to test. Okay? And I go to downtown Buffalo. I was like, all right, I'm going to do some self-portraits, okay? I'm going to do some self-portraits in front of the Shays Buffalo Theater sign. Beautiful sign in downtown, the theater district of Buffalo. Beautiful old school theater sign. I'm like, I just want a portrait, a self-photo in front of this. Dude, I put the flash on top of the camera. I wish I had it. I don't have it because I shipped it home. I shipped a box of stuff home. It's in the box. I have my camera. This camera, okay? And the flash is like big, right? I hook it up. Flash is good to go. I set it on the seat, the front seat of the car. I reached to grab my jacket, my snow jacket, because I parked downtown like 2 blocks away from the sign. Go to grab my jacket. I pull the jacket. The jacket inside has little they look like suspenders. So I think you can put it on to secure it. One of those suspenders catches the camera, knocks it out of the car. The big giant Nissan Armada that they claim the windshield was broken. Camera falls, lands on the flash, breaks the flash. Never got a chance to use it. Never got a chance to use it. It's like $160. Didn't use it once. And it broke completely. The whole hot shoe came off. Now I might be able to replace the hot shoe. There are replacements. I might be able to do that. We'll see. But unbelievable, dude. So I broke my microphone. I broke my flash. So then I put on the little tiny flash. And I still did some portraits. I don't know. They came out fine. But the other flash was so much better. It would have been a nice, soft. Just unbelievable, dude. Oh, and I forgot, though. When I brought the microphone to the Eternal Flame, I also forgot the cord for the microphone. Because I redid the tape and the cord came out. Dude, it was a trip of amazing highs and just stupid mistakes. I made so many stupid mistakes. I fell in a creek. I broke my microphone. I forgot the cord for my microphone the next day. And I dropped and broke my flash before I ever got to use it once. But look, I did it. I went to the last game at the Ralph, and that's that, dude. Talk to my lawyers. You know what I mean? What brand of speed light did you buy? I can't remember. I cannot even remember. I'll have to look it up. Because there was 3 I was going to buy, and I can't remember which one I got. Because I didn't even get to use it, dude. It was brand new, and I just didn't even... I'm going to look it up, though. I think it's just the hot shoe. I think if I replace the hot shoe, I think it'll still work. But I might just try to get a refund. I haven't even looked yet. Like I said, I shipped it home. I have a box of stuff that I shipped that I'll grab, that I'll get, and then I'll look into it then. But just insane luck, dude. When you're running and gunning, dude, and dude, you got to do these videos because you need your 200 views. That's what happens. There was other stuff, dude. Look, on my flight to Atlanta. There's a guy, dude. This is the moral of the story, dude. Real recognize real, dude. Real recognize real, okay? Because we just locked eyes and did a head nod. And we just knew. We were just on the level. That was it. That was all we needed. He was the flight attendant. One of them, right? He comes around for snack time. And here's the thing that Delta does I don't like. When you get like a soda... They just give you a cup and they just pour it, and then they don't give you the soda. They just give you the cup. So you only get like half a soda, really. I need a little caffeine bump. I ask for a Coke. He looks at me, nods, gives me the Coke with the cup. He didn't do that to the people next to me. And he did it like behind their back so they wouldn't see. And then he says, "Do you want a snack?" I said, "I'll take Sun Chips." Slides me 2 bags of Sun Chips. You know why, dude? Because real recognize real, dude. And that's that. It was unspoken. We just knew, like, what up, bro? What up? Right? That was all it took. That was all it took. Real recognize real, dude. He was a real one, and he recognized a real one. He gave me 2 bags of Sun Chips and the whole Coke behind everyone's back. And that's why you lead with love and respect, dude. Because he knew. I gave him respect. What's up, bro? Then when I'm getting off the flight, he was like, "Stay out of trouble," or whatever. And I was like, what did he say? Stay out of trouble? Oh, I said, yeah. He said, "Stay out of trouble." I said, "Always." And he said, "Man, when people say always to that," I was like, "Bro, I always stay out of trouble." And I was like, "Be smooth." And he's like, "You too." Real recognize real, dude. Shout out that guy. I don't even know your name, but on Delta. Real recognize real, and that's that. Okay? Another brand might be able to get it fixed for you. All right, I'll look it up after this. Yeah. Yeah, man. What else? Dude, I went to the Grand Central Terminal. So cool, but it look it up. It's in Buffalo. Like, unfortunately, they're redeveloping it. So unfortunately, I came too late to explore it as it's abandoned. But it's gonna be awesome, dude. And like, I'll show you guys when I edit some pictures. Like, and actually, let me see if I have any of the pictures right now, because it's so freaking cool. Like, I always saw pictures of the building, and I was like, "Oh, this building's awesome." But like, seeing it in person, there was an epicness to it. There was just a feeling of like, "Oh wow, this is crazy," right? I was like, I'm feeling this. Dang it, hold on, I don't have a good picture of it. Wait. Oh, is this the dude? Hold on, can I? I think this is the dude. Hold on. Dang, I can't. I'm not gonna. I was gonna show. I think I have a picture. I think that's the security guard that was being a prick to me after the game. But I'm not gonna do that. I don't want to explain. It wasn't that big of a deal, right? But this building, Grand Central Terminal building, is when you're right up next to it. It's so epic. It is so epic. It feels like you're in an old Superman or Batman cartoon. Like, honestly. Right here. It's like Art Deco. It's from, I forgot what year, 1930s or something. And obviously the picture doesn't do it justice. But when you're out there on a cold night by yourself, it feels like it's a villain's lair, and it's super cool. I filmed like a quick little TikTok about it, but there was fences all around it, and it's a construction site now. You can see there's scaffolding there, but this place was sitting abandoned for many years. So I'm kind of bummed I was never able to, get in when it was abandoned. But this place is super dope. Maybe when it reopens, maybe if I ever go back to Buffalo, it'll be reopened. And I can check it out. Are they redeveloping it in a gentrification way? I actually don't know what they're doing, but I've seen Buffalo's buildings in downtown with the Statue of Liberty on the spires. Dude, there's so many awesome buildings in Buffalo. There really is. At one point, Buffalo had like the most millionaires in the country. So they did all these really cool. This is when millionaires and the rich people actually like did community projects, and it wasn't just all profit motive because they would get, tax breaks for it. Yeah, man. And then on the flight home, I got into it with a TSA agent. I don't really need to talk about it. But like I said earlier, man, I can't let things slide, dude. But I'll tell you the funny part about it. He was all right. I'll just tell the story, dude. Let's just be transparent, dude. Not sponsored by Dr. Brown's original cream soda, but it can be. Business email in the description. I put going through security. I have a carry-on suitcase and a backpack. I put them in trays. I put the tray on the little rollers, and this guy, he's shorter than me, buff with tattoos, and a super dark beard, He walks up and he's like, "Turn it around." I'm like, What? He's like, "Turn it around." And I'm like looking at the suitcase like, how do you want me to turn the suitcase? Like, I don't get how you want me to turn the suitcase. And he's like, "Make it like this one." And I'm looking, it's a totally different type of bag. So I'm like, how do I turn a totally different suitcase to a different? And he was talking about, the whole time he's talking about the tray. He wanted me to turn the tray. So this guy, he sees the trays all day long, so he knows exactly which way they go, right? I'm just a guy trying to rush through the airport. And this little rectangle, it's hard to tell. He could have just said, "Can you turn the tray, please? Turn the tray," whatever. But no, turn it around. Turn it around. So same exact thing. I stare at him. I'm like, "You don't have to be rude about it." And then he did, it's such a cowardly thing. He goes, "I don't think I'm being rude. You think I'm being rude?" Like, dude, like playing dumb, like doing that little childish game. Like, you're being rude, dude. Like, just because you don't spell it out doesn't mean we're not human beings with the ability to read social cues. So here's the funny part, though. I said there was a funny part. We're like almost face to face, staring at each other. And then he's doing the like, "Got everything out of your pockets? Check your pockets." And I'm just staring at him while I'm checking my pockets. And he's like trying to tell me what to do as I'm already doing it, just to be more of a prick, Like, "Take off your jacket." As I'm already taking it off, I'm like... So in my head, with everything I'm about to say, I'm running it through like there's like a there's a panel, there's like a board meeting where they're like, can you say this and not get detained or miss your flight? You know, and they're discussing it around the boardroom. Like, well, if you say that, it's kind of threatening, and they might be able to. Yeah. And then someone's like, it's not threatening. I think you could say that. And then they vote like, no, that's a little too threatening. Don't say that. That's what's going on in my head. So I did call him one cuss word. Which in hindsight I probably shouldn't have done because, you know, I don't know. But I go through the thing, you know, and the other TSA agents are there, and I'm just like, that guy. I was like, that guy, whatever. And some girl who was working there, she was trying to be nice. She was like, don't mind him. He just has like a different sense of humor, like a weird sense of humor or something. I'm like, I didn't think it was funny. And she like apologized, but I'm like, nah, that guy's got issues. Like, why do people have to be rude, man? I'm so sweet to everybody. Not everybody. I make mistakes. But I try to be nice. I try. And I definitely don't just bark orders at people. It's like, bro, like, just say, you just insert the word tray, dude. Was the bad TS agent in Buffalo? Yes. Yes, he was. But whatever, dude. It is what it is. The thing is, like I said, most people would have just been like, man, that TSA agent was rude. But me, I'm going to let them know. Luckily, they didn't, like, you know, escalate it to where I missed my flight. Or something like that. Luckily. But anyways, dude, who cares, right? Who cares? Just be nice to people, man. I'm a sweetie pie, dude. Let me just be a sweetie pie and stop pushing my buttons so I'm not a sweetie pie. Cause you're knocking me off my path, dude. I'm on a path to being a better person. And you being rude, you're putting hurdles in the way, dude. And I don't want that. I want to be a sweetie pie 24/7. Full of joy, dude. So yeah, I had a little face-to-face standoff with a TSA agent. And I broke my microphone and my flash. And I banged my knee so bad that it's still got a gash in it. And then the rental car company says I cracked the windshield even though I didn't. Here's the good thing, though. I didn't know this. I just fixed it. But months ago, I checked my old music. Yes, I used to do music. Okay. Yes, dude. He's multi-talented. My old music made a bunch of money. And it was in an account that I didn't know about. And then I just, for the last few months, had to jump through these hoops to prove who I was. And I finally figured it out today. So now I should be able to get my money. It's not a ton of money, but more money than I expected to have because I hadn't checked. Last thing, dude. Last thing before I get out of here. I told you guys I'm getting rid of my 49ers season tickets. I told my member service rep I'm getting rid of my season tickets. I took my card off file so they couldn't charge me. Somehow they still charged me. They charged me multiple payments too. They charged me multiple payments. So then my rent's late because they took out a whole bunch of money out of my account. So I had to email my rep and said, I told you I was getting rid of my season tickets. I'm trying to relinquish them. They're yours. I don't want anything. I don't want any kind of value from the seat license I paid, anything. It's a sunken cost fallacy. I can't just keep doing this. So it looks like they processed the return. I just have to wait for the money. But they screwed me. But the 49ers beat the Eagles, didn't they? It's a wild, wacky world, isn't it? From the experience of connecting flying from Mexico to San Diego, I had to go through TSA all over again. I wonder if they remembered your credit or debit card info. Yeah, I don't know. I took it off file, but I guess they still kept it on file in the back end or something. I don't know. But either way, that sucked a whole lot. Sucked a whole lot when my rent, because it's the same account I pay my rent from, and my rent payment bounced back. I'm like, whoa. There's plenty of money in there. Turns out there wasn't plenty of money in there anymore. You thought you were giving up your season tickets. Yeah, they were like, nah. You're telling me that you had your bank card connected to your ticket, not a credit card. Yeah, because when I got them, I didn't even have a credit card. I have a lot of credit cards now, unfortunately, but yes, for a while I did not have a credit card to use. But once, so I'm going through a whole thing with my finances, and I'm trying to clear all this stuff up. By spring this year, I should have basically a clean slate, and most of my debt besides my car paid off. So then I will start fresh and do things the proper way. Make sure you pay your other credit card and save for you. I get cash back. I know. You're right. But I didn't have one at the time when I signed up. Yeah, so that was stupid. So a lot of stuff going on, folks. I got a whole lot of show and tell stuff to show you guys, like maybe next week, week after. We can do a call-in thing. If anyone wants to call in, I would say I'll organize it probably through Discord. So if you want to do that, join the Discord, and we'll try to figure it out that way. But if we do it, I need people to be on camera. I don't want to be talking to a black rectangle. You know, because I'm gonna set up the camera and everything, and it's inclusive, dude. Everyone's welcome. I'll show you guys all the show and tell soon. I got a lot of cool stuff. I got a new bobblehead. I got, what else? I guess that's it. Nah, I got some other goodies. I got something really cool, actually, that I found a couple weeks ago in Niles. I'm still sick. I need to rest. I'm going to try to finish this Bills video. Now that it's official, I feel better about it. And, yeah. Credit cards seem like a hassle. I remember so shit. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. I will check in with you next week. Join the Discord, please. We need some life in there. We have fun talking, game day chat, and all that. Just please join. I really would like to build a really good community. It's already a good community, but obviously we want more. And that's it. Like, subscribe, share, do all the cool things cool kids do. Something other tours now. Variety, Vertlife. I realized that you always sat in your season ticket section before you even had season tickets. No. Close. I did say close because that's the area I like. I like corner. Mid-level is my go-to. So not too pricey, like sitting down low. Plus, I like the elevated look to watch the game. And then I prefer corner. Offset a little bit for football. And because you watched that video? That video was one of the reasons why I'm like, oh, I really like that area. Because I was sitting in almost the same place. Yeah, subscribe, share, do all the cool things, cool users, something else, on variety, Vertlife. MLB realignment. I'll save it for next week. Remind me next week. We'll, because I got some other baseball stuff to talk about next week. So we'll talk about baseball next week. Because this has already been 2.5 hours, and I already signed off. But remind me. Let's talk about realignment next week. He's okay, folks. Talk to my lawyers. All right. Vertlife.